Hey folks, hope you're having a good evening. I just wanted to cover the idea of how quickly could we implement blockchain-based payments on the XRP ledger with financial institutions. Because they're passing legislation right now, or they're working to pass legislation. And the only reason governments even get around or anything like that is if they have something to legislate. So yeah, there are new networks, protocols, and financial rails out there, and they've been built by companies like Ripple, primarily by companies like Ripple. So I want to take a little moment of your time to just kind of focus on that. While the market is, let's take a quick look here. Let me move a screen over here. What are we looking at? XRP is at 275. I wouldn't be surprised if on Monday or Tuesday it takes a big dip back to 220. It's always like buy the rumor, sell the news. So what was the rumor this past week? Crypto week's coming, right? The buzz. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back down. You know, that's what we've been doing, right? We've been ebbing and flowing, and that's fine. I'm starting to think like maybe when we start getting something more concrete, like the legislation, the Genius Act, or the market structure bill passed, that's going to be a huge impetus. Interest rates coming down, that's going to be another big flow of money. The effect of the Big Beautiful Act bill, remember that that's got an inflow of $3 trillion new dollars to be spent. So that's going to have an effect on markets. And of course, the big one are those ETFs come October. Some of those decisions will be great. I hope they're all approved, but as we know, the SEC isn't prone to do that. But if they do, that'd be great. And we know about 18 to 20 of those applications are for specifically XRP ETFs. So all this stuff may make the market blow up. But let's look at this. How quickly could we actually get this to work? So it says, how fast can a bank go live with XRP-powered payments once regulations are clear? Keep in mind, next week's Crypto Week, that this part here is coming. So now, full implementation, including testing, about 2 to 3 months in some cases, as fast as 3 weeks in others. I would argue that it is just as fast as from 1 second to the next in many cases with larger banks, because we know they've already been working with Bank of America. We know JP Morgan's worked with them. We know they're working with Wells Fargo. My daughter just made a video on that the other day. So when they're working with SBI over in Japan. I think they're working with Deutsche Bank. They're working with another bank down in Brazil. I could go on. There's a ton of banks they've been working with. So a lot of these banks already have these things ready to go once clarity comes into focus, and clarity comes with legislation. So it says here, to the world, it'll feel like an overnight transformation. But in reality, the infrastructure has been quietly put in place, ready to move at a moment's notice. And that's what I was just saying. I mean, a lot of these people have already tested and proven these things. They might announce it as though, oh, well, we're going to test it for a little bit. That's been done. They don't legislate something that's just being tested. Okay, so it goes, watch this clip from a Ripple webinar as they break down the speed of implementation for their services. Now, I read you that, and we're going to see the video here in a second, but just keep in mind, they're having webinars to try to have everybody get everybody up to speed that this is how we can do it, this is what's possible, that's the value proposition, and they're getting customers. It's a very profitable company. Ripple is a very profitable company because they own the patents and they have this amazing blockchain that can send full payments, settlement and messaging. You see, Swift, when you send money through Swift, that wire transfer, that's just a text message. That's all that is. The money comes later, and the full settlement, you still have to get the money and take it over and put it in their hands. But not with blockchain. With blockchain, you send the message and the value all in one within 3 to 5 seconds for 0.0002 cents. That's a fraction of a penny, and it's secure. And you can scale this blockchain. You can scale it to put through as many transactions as you need, and we can also change the price or the cost of each transaction. So right now it's at about 0.0002, but if they needed it to go down or up, they can do that as well. And keep in mind, if you have like one bank over here and the other bank over here, and they're transferring through Ripple, the network expense, the cost to run it through the blockchain is 0.0002, but each financial institution might add a cost to it themselves. We know that because when you use your debit card, that's kind of how it works, right? You make your payment and there's a service fee to the establishment that you're paying for the privilege of being able to have access to that network. So that's how that works sometimes. And if you ever pull money out of an ATM, they charge you money to take your own money out, right? So that's how that kind of works. I don't think it'll be that pricey because of the knowledge of the inexpensiveness of the network. But let's take a look at, in their words, how they describe what's possible. And hopefully this informs your knowledge base about how XRP works and why it might be a good investment for you if you're interested. If you're not, well, at least maybe you'll learn a little bit more. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark. We'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time. Adios, amigos.
Which I think should be quite comfortable for you. How long is the implementation process to get started with Ripple?
Yeah, so typically we look at about a 2 to 3 month basis from start to finish. A lot of that is part of the onboarding process. So we go through a credit review process. We then have an onboarding process. That's relatively straightforward. In terms of the technical integration side, it can take between, I'd say, probably 1 to 2 months. That includes things like testing, integrating into the system, and just general process. I think the fastest one I've ever done was probably a 3-week implementation, which was very fast. And probably the slower ones hit that sort of 3-month mark. But it's as fast as you can put resources into making it happen. And we're here to support that.
Okay, well, that's a good lead into the last one.